It's time for our daily dose of cope, and we have this leopard here eating face-flavored popcorn. Many of these Trump supporters have voted for their own demise, and tariffs are tearing them up. Let's jump into some of these stories. This is where we're going to start. Co-founder of Women for Trump. Let's look at this tweet. She says, cost of living is out of control. If you don't grocery shop, you need to go to the grocery store and see for yourself. The prices are outrageous and continue to climb. I don't know how people are living. Families are struggling and can't afford to eat. Our elderly are hurting and too prideful to say anything. Something has got to give. But what's going to give? Are you going to do anything differently? You're speaking, you're typing, but are you going to vote differently? Is this where you're going to stick and stay? People are losing their health care and tariffs are tearing them up. But what are these people that voted for Trump going to do next time? I love this one from More Motivation. It says, sometimes the reality is a bit different when it hits. So June 12th, so that's not even that long ago, this woman named Cynthia says, I'd gladly pay higher food costs to make our country safer and give those jobs back to Americans. Deport them all, no excuses or special permissions. Then September 28th, this is what Cynthia says. I don't know about you, but my grocery bills are still sky high. I'm not at all happy about it. Let's not BS each other. It's true. But she said right here, I'd gladly pay higher food prices. Okay, cool. Pay it. Pay it, Cynthia. This one is titled, Elections Have Consequences. On November 4th, Kayla is making a post about mail-in versus in-person votes. And she says the men that haven't been able to are probably a lot of blue-collar, hard workers who can't ever seem to relax like my husband. But he will show up November 5th. Is the last day to make the right change for America. MAGA 2024. So that's November 4th. Here's Kayla on September 25th saying, when will hard working class Americans see a change? We voted for you 3 times, and my husband and I are struggling and can't get any help. We have 4 kids and both work 40 hours per week and hardly see our children. I want to stay home with them. I pray you see this. Please see this. Please, Trump. Please, Daddy Trump, help us. But this is the change that y'all wanted to see. So MAGA 2024. So this right here, it says, this photo shows Treasury Secretary reading a text from the Agricultural Secretary. She's worried China has outmaneuvered the U.S. by buying up Argentine soybeans at the expense of our farmers, even as the administration plans to bail out Argentina with billions of dollars. And if y'all haven't seen this, even though I keep talking about this, China has bought 0 soybeans from the U.S. Even though soybeans going to China, that's their biggest buyer. Donald Trump is screwing them. And then Donald Trump is bailing out Argentina. So MAGA stands for Make Argentina Great Again and screw them farmers. Farmers for Trump is definitely the dumbest MAGA demographic. Farmers for Trump is the dumbest. If you disagree, go ahead and chime in. Who do you think the dumbest MAGA demographic is? Now we have an article that just dropped today. This is titled, Is Trump Keeping All His Promises? This MAGA couple doesn't think so. 8 months into his second term, the president is facing some difficulties living up to the high expectations of his supporters. Let's get into this one. Jessie Meadows told her mother-in-law not to panic when business slowed at the family flower shop last year. They just needed to hold on just a little longer until Donald Trump got back in office. She's still waiting for the turnaround. The phone that used to ring all day during Trump's first term sits mostly quiet. Customers are still reluctant to spend on an extra like flowers. In her corner of small town Georgia, a box of faux berries from China recently arrived at the shop with a note explaining that they cost 17% more because of Trump's tariffs. Fruit's getting outrageous now. Meadows, 36, lamented to a customer on one recent afternoon, explaining the rising price of gift baskets the woman orders every year for a friend's birthday. And the holiday seasons are coming. This type of person is going to really struggle for the holidays because, yes, this is extra. Trump campaigned on grand promises: cut energy costs in half, immediately bring prices down, drain the swamp, make IVF free, and end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. Now, Meadows was starting to question the president's ability to keep his word. And not just on the economy. She didn't like his dismissive attitude toward MAGA Republicans who wanted to see the government's full files on convicted ex-offender Jeffrey Epstein after Trump said last year that he was inclined to release information on Epstein. Carter, 37, who runs the local funeral home, also voted for Trump last year, believing he would be good for the economy. Now, tariffs are pushing up prices for one of his suppliers, and Carter isn't sure how long he can hold off raising his own rates. The tariffs, he said, seem unplanned and childish. I'm not an economist, he added, probably going to hurt before it gets better. But we also really don't have a suggestion on how to fix that, Jesse interjected. We don't understand enough about it. One thing that was clear to Carter, he said, was that voters make decisions based on what they're paying for, necessities. Jesse and Carter are mostly reliable Republicans, though Jesse once made an exception for Barack Obama because she liked what he said about free community college. They were quickly drawn in 2016 to Trump's pitch that he was a political outsider who would run the company like a business, despite the fact that he has bankrupted so many businesses. So they wanted a country that was run like a failed business. The Meadows have been dedicated to their own businesses, which can be all-consuming. Carter has been known to leave a birthday party and Christmas morning presents to respond to death calls. His grandma used to run the flower store while her husband ran the funeral home now. 2 generations later, Jesse and Carter were doing the same thing. Their 2016 votes for Trump seemed to pay off. Business was great, and the flower shop got an extra van. Under President Joe Biden, they experienced soaring inflation and, last September, a hurricane that hit their rural county hard. Business at the flower shop slowed to the point that Jessie and her mother-in-law stopped taking paychecks for months, she said, and saved their funds for their 24-year-old employee. Then Trump won re-election in November. We're going to be okay, Jessie thought. But this year, with each passing month, the Meadows didn't see improvements. At the flower shop, they've yet to replace a sign that blew down during the hurricane. Jesse and Carter were sitting in the living room one day in July when Jesse saw a reference on Facebook to Trump's latest Lie Social post. Republicans and Democrats alike were pressing for more information on Epstein, and Trump was furious. Their new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax, and my past supporters have bought into this BS, hook, line, and sinker, Trump wrote. Let these weaklings continue forward and do the Democrats' work. Don't even think about talking of our incredible and unprecedented success, the president continued, because I don't want their support anymore. Jessie turned to her husband. It's got to be fake. They looked up Trump's post and found it was real. Briefly, Carter felt ashamed of his vote. Jessie was angry. She was MAGA, she decided, but MAGA wasn't synonymous with Trump. Make America Great Again does not depend on one man, she said later. And if he abandons the movement, then we can continue without him. No, you cannot. It is synonymous. These people are ridiculous if they think that this is not synonymous, but okay. Leopard meat face. Now to this story with Mel Gibson. Y'all know he's MAGA. He said, I'm glad Trump is here. It's like daddy arrived and he's taken his belt off. Mel Gibson says Kamala Harris has got the IQ of a fence post, voices support for Donald Trump. That was last October. Y'all remember this? This happened in January. Trump names Mel Gibson, John Voight, and Sylvester Stallone as Hollywood special ambassadors. Now we got this from this morning at 5:56 a.m. Our movie-making business has been stolen from the United States of America by other countries, just like stealing candy from a baby. California, with its weak and incompetent governor, has been particularly hard hit. Therefore, in order to solve this long-time, never-ending problem, I will be imposing a 100% tariff on any and all movies that are made outside of the United States. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America Great Again, President DJT. This is going to make costs soar. All of these tariffs just getting willy-nilly added to everything is so ridiculous. But he said he was going to run on tariffs. He said he was going to run on mass deportation. So this is what we got. Y'all go ahead and follow over on YouTube. I'm trying to get to 100K by the end of the year.
I voted for and my politics don't really have anything to do with the line of questioning of my business endeavors and launching Meadow Lane and my TikTok journey. There's just not much of a correlation there. But thank you so much for trying to make everything political.
I will never not think that white men are some of the most entitled individuals in the world, and also very much delusional. To think that politics doesn't seep into every aspect of our lives. Literally, the fact that he is able to be online and talk like that and to exist in the skin that he lives in is political. Food has been one of the most politicized things on this earth. Who gets it? How much do they get? How healthy of the choices do they get? How expensive it is all driven by politics. Also, food has been used as a weapon of war. We are currently seeing that play out right now in the Middle East. Black people have been experiencing food warfare since the beginning of the United States. That's why the vast majority of soul food is influenced by Black folks, what they were and were not giving access to during the creation of this country and the subsequent years that followed. i.e. slavery, which is one of the most political things that have ever happened in this country. Now, I don't know if this man is a Trump supporter. Now, I don't know if this man is a Trumpier, but I do find it problematic when a person who is about to open a very expensive grocery store in New York doesn't think the food is political, especially in this moment.